did see that apparently you guys have decided that if you do give the fairgrounds money, it's going to be ARPA. I read that. Ask Al, he wrote it.
I can't really confirm that, but
Because last time I checked, you could give them like 100,000.
I know
take it out of the general fund.
I know what Carl Hunnell wrote was accurate. I did not see the News Journal article.
Well, it says that Fairgrounds asks for 500,000 in ARPA funds. That wasn't really
not precise.
not the meeting I covered. I'm old, so.
It reads the News Journal. Hey, since Al's not here, I can say that.
I tried to tell Tony yesterday, and is Tony in there? Because he maintains the land bank as a quasi.
Tony doesn't work here.
Good morning. But Attorney General said you can't vote anymore since last July.
Now you can.
You can.
Yeah, there was a bill that just got signed by the governor within the month.
Okay, so they went back to it?
Yes, temporarily through June 30th, I think.
23rd.
So it is
You're talking about the
ability to vote remotely.
23rd
June 23rd.
Why did they go back to do it? Just because of Omicron or Omnicron? Or?
I would guess.
Daryl's the expert.
Oh, I'm the expert.
You know, I think it's because the elected officials
We
liked doing that. It was convenient.
I'm sure they did.
I personally don't like it.
I know, I personally don't either.
But during the pandemic, there were people who said we can't get a quorum.
I can understand that.
During
Governor DeWine signs House Bill 51 into law, allowing virtual public meetings where you can vote until July 1. July 1.
Through July 1?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, you better tell Carl.
It works out well when I'm really busy with other stuff and I can cover you guys before I go over at the same time. Okay.
Maybe sent that out to us in advance, knowing that they could vote.
Well, I take back what I said Tony yesterday for last night then, when I accused him of violating the public meetings law.
Tony violates many things, but that was one of them. And people.
Yes. And sensibilities.
What was the new duo we thought of yesterday?
I'm not participating.
Oh, it was Ralph and Ed.
From the Honeymooners.
How amazing you guys haven't used maybe you did and I didn't. Like Abbott and Costello. Let's go way back.
There's a good one.
Back to the 56, Hudson and Land. You remember those guys?
Don't give Tony any more ideas. You ever watch the Honeymooners?
Yes.
Yeah, Ralph. We could think of Ed Horton.
One of these days, Alice. One of these days. To the moon. Zoom.
I can see that not going over so well anymore.
And today's sensibilities would not allow that. Or sensitivity, I should say.
I think that was
Spousal abuse.
that show broadcast live? I think it was.
It did have that, like they would have that studio audience
Yeah.
clapping.
I remember watching it at prime time in black and white on the Sears Silvertone TV that we had. Like, I don't remember if it was shown broadcast live.
When the show would open, people would clap, which is a little unusual.
He came out with like a cup of coffee, like to talk to the audience before.
Oh,
I have to look it up now.
now you're dating yourself, Carl.
I am.
I can still remember the theme song, as a matter of fact. Now da, 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 and then the fireworks are going off.
Yes.
Honeymooners live. Let's see. The show, okay, the partial promote shows at the time, the Honeymooners was filmed in front of a live audience on broadcast later date.
I have the Honeymooners board game.
Yeah.
Board game that somebody gave me years ago, where I moved 3 spaces. You know, Ed's Ralph's scheme fails, back 5 spaces or things like that. Yeah.
Well, I've never heard of that before. Milton Bradley, Parker
Yeah,
Brothers.
something like that. I got it tucked away in
It's probably a collectible.
Okay, there's one game you need to get. You don't have.
Good morning.
Well,
Hi, Commissioner. Nice to see you.
How are you? How are you? Good to see
Should we sit here in the middle?
Yeah, I think that's good.
It is
Front and center.
a game.
You're the show today. Yeah. Yeah, blue is the color we're supposed to be.
It is blue day.
It's the color for winners.
I tell you.
Actually, it's blue. We should have worn green.
If the whole crew ain't here.
Everybody's in
No
blue.
Albert, no Mike.
Listen.
How are you? Good to see you.
This is the colors for sex.
I'm gonna get my juice. Oh, my jacket's blue. The jacket.
You're not no Western. Thank you for asking. He's doing well. He's doing well.
Oh, my goodness.
There, now I feel better.
Better, there you go.
It either pops up here or it pops up here. There's a little
Totally.
pops up
We
here.
can do
Yeah, it pops up there. That's when it usually pops up here. And I miss it sometimes because I'm looking at this screen, not this screen.
Appreciate everything.
And I think somebody from the Globe is supposed to be this year.
Good.
Hello, good to see you.
Yeah.
Heard good things.
Yeah. I think somebody from the Globe is going to sign on too, but
1980.
I know it pops up there, but it looks, yeah.
It's been banned.
All right.
They literally had.
Oh, it does say,
Oh, yeah.
so no, that's a.
That's outdated.
You really care.
I have mine.
I said, is there
I said, what am I?
You
I did.
out of your chair,
I
Len?
tried to run it off. It did not work.
That's the way we're gonna.
Okay. It is Thursday, March 10th, and your Richland County Commissioners are now in session. We are joined by many people, but we have our usuals here: Commissioner Darrell Banks, Commissioner Cliff Mears, Clerk Stacy Crawl, County Administrator Andrew Keller. Carl Hunnell has gotten out of remote land, and boy, it must be a big deal if Carl's here in person.
Shelby's here, I guess.
So you can't.
There you go.
There you go.
Shelby's here and you're all wearing blue.
Given the nature of the topic, you ought to be wearing green.
That's right.
No.
Alan Megaland.
Al is on, yes.
All right. Good morning, Al. We have Archie McMicrowave back there at WMFD. Announce yourselves, Shelby. And isn't there a rule if the whole team isn't here, you can't get money? Aren't you missing
That's
something?
not a rule. This is a nasty rumor.
Albert, do you?
We want to include Cody.
Where's Cody today?
He's in Disney World with his family.
Oh, so he chose vacation over something monumental for Shelby. Okay, we'll get that on the record. So let the record reflect Cody doesn't care. But go ahead, announce yourself.
Jessica Griven, Economic Development Liaison with the Chamber.
Joe Geis.
Jake Penwell, President of Shelby CIC.
Carrie Kimmer, Shelby Foundation.
Steve Shag, Mayor of Shelby.
Nathan Martin, City Council.
Welcome all. So we have, if you recall, the Shelby team with Cody Albert presented on Shelby's Black Fork Commons project. Andrew did an excellent job of finding an acceptable use under ARPA should the commissioners approve that. We're here today to kind of to bring that to a close one way or the other. And so we'll turn it over to you guys.
You mind if I say something, Commissioner?
Your show.
Today, of course, the commissioners are going to make a decision on the notice of award for the Black Fork Commons Plaza project. And I just have to say, it's been a fun project. And that's saying something when you're dealing with grant writing. This has been a fun project, and I've enjoyed working with the Shelby team. They have a great team of advocates. Jessica here beside me, as well as Carrie, director of the Shelby Foundation, Mayor Shag, Joe Geis, the whole team. And it's been collaborative. And this is a project that I know that, the commissioners have given special consideration to, in part because it's going to be a special location for the city of Shelby for years to come. And not just for the city, it's going to be an asset for the whole county. So with that, I will turn it over to Jessica for any additional comments you might have, or anybody from the Shelby team. And then we'll turn it back over to the commissioners.
Well, I'll just start by saying thank you for considering this project. This is a huge deal for Shelby. It's part of a 3-phase project, and it's really going to be transformative to Shelby's downtown, which is important for the people who live in Shelby. It's important for people who we want to attract to Shelby, businesses who call Shelby home. And we're just really grateful that you considered this project. So, anybody else has?
No, I agree with Jessica. And again, thank you for your consideration. We are extremely excited for what this can do for not just Shelby, for Richland County. And so again, thank you for your time, your consideration, and
No, I echo all the same. I mean, it's a great project. It's been a long time in the works, but something that once we see it coming forth, I think it's, like you said, an asset to Richland County and very much to Shelby, and we appreciate your consideration.
So this will be more of a question, I think, for Councilman Martin or the mayor. So I know we had discussed, we feel pretty comfortable that should we appropriate some money, it's an acceptable use, but there is a little bit of risk whenever an auditor reviews your appropriation. So the city of Shelby and council is still comfortable in saying, hey, in the event that there are any auditing issues, the city would sort of guarantee that appropriation.
Yes, that's the consensus around the table.
Excellent.
I may add, at our last appropriations meeting, we did earmark another 100,000 from our ARPA funds towards this project.
Okay. So
I would like to make a motion to approve the sub-grant from the American Rescue Act 2021 funding resources for $450,000 for the Black Fork Commons neighborhood investment. And it's the project right now. I think you got a great project. I've even visited the park as it is now, and it's a very good start in what you want to do. I think it's great. I make the motion for 450.
So I don't, I'm actually, I think comfortable probably going to 500 mark. So I think this might be Cliff as the tiebreaker to a certain extent. How would we handle that from a
Well, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a
A
second?
second or a dive?
I'm not gonna second it.
I know that.
Or you second it and vote it down?
Yeah, but then if it's a no on the, you decide, big boy. I'm fine with 500, but 450, but I mean, I just think it's a good project. They asked for 500 with inflation ticking. By the time this gets done, it gives them a little bit extra money. Knowing inflation, not playing politics, continues to rise at astronomical rates. This again covers a little bit of inflation. So I'm comfortable with 500, but if ultimately it's 450, obviously I'd be fine at 450 as well. So.
Well, Tony makes a good point that inflation is affecting so many things. I think this is a project that is needed. It's well thought out. I think Shelby is a growing and dynamic community and one that I have a special affinity for. Shelby's been very good to me, so I will not be seconding motion for 450. I would like to make a motion to approve the project at $500,000.
I will second that motion.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
No, no offense. I think it's a great project.
Then we have a notice of award here. So this probably should be a part of your motion to approve that, or an additional motion to approve that notice of award. And then I have two separate originals here. This is the subrecipient agreement with the city of Shelby. We're on those this morning, and then we will be sending them after the board votes to approve the agreement. At that point, the originals.
So Andrew, can we do these together? Do we need to do notice of award and then the subrecipient agreement? Can we do them all together?
You could approve that as one motion. Approve and adopt the notice of award as one motion, and then I would do a separate motion for the agreement.
All right, so we'll ask for, at this time, a motion to approve the notice of award.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Okay, now I will ask for a motion to approve the sub-grant agreement for the Black Fork Commons Neighborhood Investment Project between the Richland County Board of Commissioners and the city of Shelby.
So move. Second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Banks.
Yes.
Congratulations, you guys. I'm sure the media is gonna have questions. Ask away, media.
For commissioners, is this coming from regular ARPA or lost revenue ARPA?
Regular. And for the exact legal specifics, we refer you to the ARPA guru, Andrew Keller.
Mr. Keller, second question, then how does this specifically qualify?
The final rule issued in January for the American Rescue Plan Act allows for ARPA monies to be used towards neighborhood improvement projects when those neighborhoods qualify as a disproportionately impacted community. And through the hard work of our team and research, we've been able to document and demonstrate that this community does qualify. This census tract within the city of Shelby does qualify for the federal criteria. And so we've underwrote the project accordingly. And that allows us to use these ARPA funds to make it happen.
Anybody, folks from Shelby, what's the status now, once you get this money? Are you going to rebid it? Or what's the-
I'll let Joe answer. Yeah.
Our Monday council meeting, council recessed until 3:30 tomorrow, pending on this decision today. So they will meet tomorrow, approve the subrecipient agreement and advertise to go out for bids. So we knew time was of the essence. So that's why.
Is there a time frame that you guys have in mind for actual construction and completion of the project?
So the original intent was done by November. Talking with our engineer yesterday and so forth, maybe beginning of spring, but that's going to need to be decided today. So when I get back, we'll have a lot and the bid doc.
Mayor, I'll ask you, how big an impact? I mean, this is the second phase of a pretty big project. So this particular.
I think this is a capstone on a grand strategic plan that the city of Shelby's been working on for many years. And in creating place, I don't know how you do it any better. And this for years and years to come.
Council standpoint, how comfortable, if, let's say unthinkable happens, the auditor says you guys, oh, this doesn't qualify. How comfortable the city can kind of guarantee?
Very comfortable. We've partnered with the community. I see we have a significant part of the project is actually coming from donations. The citizens of Shelby have really stepped up in that regard. And so CIC in the platform well at bringing the entirety of the city together supporting this project. And city council is willing to make whatever investments necessary to make that happen. We're very thankful for opening up ARPA money to be able to help us out. The reason we're here is because of inflationary costs and the costs beyond our control, other than that, our planning, we're in a position where we didn't have to ask for more or require a bigger significant investment. But city council is definitely willing to do that because it's a project that really is going to emphasize Shelby being a crown jewel of rural Ohio for not just Richland County, but the surrounding community.
Jake, from the CIC standpoint, talk about CIC was formed. Is this the kind of project you guys kind of had in mind?
Good question. At the heart of everything that we do with CIC, economic development, and the attraction of companies that want to create, expand, or retain high skill, high wage labor. And part of that with our economic development plan that we followed that was adopted by the city, and certainly the CIC uses its guiding force. There was an arm of that said if you want to attract a newer, younger generation to Shelby, at the end of it, basically, you need to do some revitalization to the center of your town, and so we know that that's a part of beautification as an active part of making the community stronger, but it's also an active part of making our economic development world stronger and our business world stronger, and that's the goal, and we want to make Shelby a place that people want to continue to live, work, and play, and raise their families, and so. We're super excited to get this project to continue to move forward.
Yeah, so this has been a perfect example of what cooperation and collaboration looks like. We're very grateful to the commissioners for their vision, their shared vision, and then provision today. But Jessica Griven, our economic development liaison, all the way, the whole team, as you mentioned, it was a team effort. And so it's great to see a plan come together like this.
And the only other thing I might add too is to get to the end beautiful result, the renderings that we see, there are some traffic difficulties and construction things that come along with that. And North Shelby, even though if different parts might be held up at times with traffic, the businesses are open in downtown Shelby, and we need people to continue to support them because that's the heart and thriving portion of our community, and we need to be there for that. So even through the next year, although it might be a little difficult, the end result is going to be worth it.
What I had,
Al, you got anything you want to ask?
Yeah, just so it's fresh in my mind, can somebody kind of do a brief recap of what you're doing, where the money, where the other money other than ARPA is coming from?
Yeah, I can talk about that. That's well, really now with the county's commitment, it's coming from state capital dollars. It's coming from county commissioner ARPA dollars, the city of Shelby commitment, and then a large portion of this project is done by private donors and the Shelby Foundation. And so we basically have hit all angles of funding to bring this project together. So we have a specific on here, Joe? No.
What was the total cost on this again, and what is the project going to involve? Just to refresh my memory.
I don't want to speak until I see the number, because I don't want to miss it. 1 second, we'll get you the exact number.
So what will go out to bid is 1.7. There have already been expenses incurred on the project, so the total cost is a little bit more than that. Is that true?
Cheers, or that's what he's asking.
Sure. And the phase two. Yeah, sure. So this portion that's at the center in the heart of Shelby is kind of broken up into 3 phases, and the front portion of that is they call it a pop fountain, a splash fountain that families can go in and enjoy. And then when they're not there, it's a beautiful water feature too that gives a piece of art to the center of town. In the back portion, there's a covered pergola and surrounding with a fireplace area that kind of activates it for 3 seasons of the year. Think of it in the early parts of spring here, being able to put that fireplace on and sit down with your family, and same at fall before a football game or something, or cocoa with your family or something down there too. The arch at the center of downtown, one of my favorite portions and features coming, which will welcome everybody to the center of Shelby. And also in the back, we have a shelter that's used currently for our farmers market, active for community festivals, groups to be able to use, and that's getting a lot of enhancements too. That'll go well with the restrooms. It's not part of this project, but were built by our park system to complete kind of this entire area. So it's a beautiful portion that really welcomes everybody right to the center of town to bring their families and to entertain.
Okay, one thing that I didn't remember seeing on the plans that you guys sent me the last time, what are the streets bordering this area?
Well, this is on Main Street at the center of town, and then there's a
Black Fork Street.
I guess is that what that's called, Black Fork Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of goes around. It's like a U shape right around this entire park. So that's right where it would be, kind of across a little bit catty corner from Mohican Street and Washington. So kind of in the center of both of where those streets are at Main Street.
Black Fork.
And I was having a little bit.
1 and 2.
Yeah, it really does. Black Fork.
Okay.
Sorry, Mayor or Commissioner Banks just stated too, and the Black Fork River kind of is right at the side in between both of those. So it's right bordering along the Black Fork River.
Okay. I didn't quite hear when Carl asked the question. Did I hear somebody say that this is going to be done by the fall?
that was the original intent of this. Talking with our engineer just the last few days, we may push the completion date to spring just because of the complexity of this and getting all the subcontractors lined up at this, it's on mid-March now, so.
We've also run into some supply chain issues with phase one of the project, and it's entirely possible that we could be delayed based on waiting on materials too. So I guess it's not set in stone, the end date at this point.
Okay, I think that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
This is a great project. Thank you, City of Shelby, for your hard work. Everyone but Cody Albert. Thank you. Make sure the newspaper reflects that he was having a Mickey Mouse creamsicle in Disney World as opposed to fighting for Shelby today. So you just let him know that.
Put his family first.
Andrew too, because Andrew did a ton of work behind the scenes here, so you commissioners have picked the right man for this job.
Yes,
He's
you have.
very knowledgeable, look for ways of getting things done, and so very thankful for Andrew.
Absolutely.
He is.
We've made some good decisions the last 5 years, but that might be the best.
Concur.
So thank you guys. We look forward to the grand opening and
Are we allowed to?
yeah, let's recess here till 10 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna go over a quick budget though. Give me a second here. All right, good morning. We are a couple minutes later and we thought to come back, but we have some happy Shelby people, so it's a good day here. We'll get moving with our logistical items. Motion to certify the record of proceedings for March 8th, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve requisitions.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Motion to approve weekly transfers and appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow. Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Okay, motion to renew our CCW system maintenance agreement. It's for $1,680 and this is routine.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Motion to approve a request from our wastewater department for an additional 24 hours of overtime to be approved from non-bargaining unit maintenance personnel through March 31. And I think that's an obvious one due to all the extreme weather events we've been having and maybe having again this weekend. So help me. I told Joe Patricki, he's like the black cat of EMA directors. So motion for that.
So moved.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears, Commissioner Banks,
Okay, motion to authorize leave without pay for a Dayspring employee who's been put on a little bit of early maternity leave.
So moved.
No, second only because the baby was born on my daughter.
Maybe we should not approve it then.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Okay, just a little bit of news then for our friends in the media. Pat sent out this week, figured we go over a little bit of a budget update in light of inflation, right? So Pat sent out our February performance. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the numbers,
I glanced at it.
but I can kind of give you an update of where we are when compared to 2021. So again, it's what I tried to do was get it down to an apples to apples. If you recall last year, we still had COVID reimbursement, and that's not the ARPA money. That is our coronavirus relief funding. So what I did was looked at our top revenue sources and compared 2021 to 2022. And then I removed the ARPA from last year's revenue to show where we are year to date. Obviously, you want to be better and anticipate being better because of unprecedented inflation. So I kind of had in my head, inflation from 21 to 22 is at that 7-8% mark, right? 7 point. So I just said from budgeting perspective, let's hope we're doing 8% better at least, and then some, because we've obviously appropriated to do better. I am happy to report that we are 14% better in our top 8 revenue sources, 21 to 22. With a specific look at our sales tax numbers, we are nearly 15% better in sales tax collections in 2022 in February as opposed to February of 2021. So that is outstanding news. Again, even taking into account inflation, we are doubling the inflation from 2021 to 22. If you remove the roughly $450,000 of coronavirus relief funding from February 2021, as a whole, from a revenue side, we are about 15.72% better in 2022 of February than 2021. So knock on wood, the first 2 months look good. Now, looking at it from an expense side, it's a little more difficult, and here's why. In the revenue, we obviously have COVID reimbursement. You can take that out. Well, and this isn't the auditor's fault. This is just our auditing system. We don't have anything specifically marked that this was a COVID expense, right? So what I tried to do then, because I can't tell what was spent on COVID, to back that out on the expense side, similar to revenue. The key for me was, where are we in terms of appropriations spent this year as opposed to 2022? Again, that seems to be trending well as of now. February of 2022, we've spent 15.3% of our appropriations. And as of February 21, we had spent 18.14% of our appropriations. So looking at an expense side, we're doing better. And as a whole, again, it's not a true apples to apples. We have actually spent less money, even with inflation, in February 2022 year to date, 6.9 almost, as opposed to 7.1 in February of 2021. So we have actually spent less. Now, again, that's the COVID could be mixed in there in some capacity, but on an expense side, we seem to be doing better than last year as well. So things are trending well. I figured we should have an update because of inflation. Any questions, Carl, on that?
What do you attribute the increased revenue and decreased spending? Do you think car sale?
I think unbelievable commissioners, isn't it? Isn't that what he's going to write? Outstanding commissioners? Is that what you're going to write?
I mean, the 8 revenue streams that are driving this is obviously sales tax the biggest. What are some of the other ones that are trending up?
I can go ahead, Daryl.
In the sales tax, you got people coming out of the basement more now than they were a year ago, certainly. And, they're going to restaurants. Travel is up a little. That's unfortunately going to come to an end, I'm afraid. But right now it's doing better. And of course you have inflation. So sales tax on $10, and it went to 13, or 7% higher than that now. So it went to $11, $12, $13. Sales tax on that's a little higher. So that's part of it.
About car sales.
I'd have to go in and dig. I'd have to hold on. Let me go in and look, because that's separated out differently, Carl.
That doesn't come to the general fund.
I can tell you this, something else that's also trending in a positive direction. So looking at January 2022 as opposed to January 2021, we were nearly 31% worse in interest earnings collections. In just 1 month now, looking at February 2022 when compared to February 2021, we're now only 0.4% worse. So we've made up about 30% in interest earnings. And if you recall, when Bart was here, he was saying he felt public interest earnings. Remember, it's different than that we thought we would be trending up. And that was actually reflected substantively in February of 2022. I mean, we're catching up. So we might be able to outpace 2021.
I know there's obviously revenues up, expenses down, but one of the things we're talking about in Columbus is reducing or doing away with some of the gas tax. Well, how big an impact is that going to have? Besides their fuel prices, because Adams coming off a hit in 2020, now they're talking about this.
So that doesn't come to us. So now, obviously, your question should be to Adam Gove and Bob Bianchi, because I know they have opinions on it. But that additional gas tax doesn't come to our general fund.
But I mean, if they lose money there, you don't think Adams going to not be coming?
Certainly.
It's a big hit. I could tell you, I've spoken with both of them. I think they're concerned, and I've told them to call our state senator.
Well, I would not be in favor of lowering the tax, because our road's going to need repairs, and they're going to need them. And if we don't have roads, I don't care if you're driving an electric car or a gas car, you're going to need it. And let's face it, what's caused a lot of this is the fact that we're not drilling for oil, and we close down our pipelines. That's large reason that we're having what we're having right now. And if you don't want to face that reality, you're going to be even hurting more in the future. You said not to get political.
Al, any questions?
I'm trying to think of some so I can sound smart like Carl. Yeah, with all this inflation, obviously you're going to get more tax because prices are higher. Do you think your income will match whatever inflation does to the county expenses?
I'm not understanding. What do you mean by income, Al?
In other words, because prices are going to be higher, you're going to be getting more sales tax. Will that increase in the sales tax because of higher prices offset your higher costs because of inflation?
But sometime, Al, people aren't going to buy as much as they have bought in the past because of inflation. When some things get more expensive, they're not going to buy them. So our sales tax are going to hurt possibly. Short term, we'll survive this okay, but the longer it goes, people aren't going to buy as much. They're going to be buying necessities.
Yeah, thank you, Daryl. That was the kind of answer I was kind of looking for.
That's why, Al, it was important that I looked at expenses, right? Because I would figure our expenses would be a lot higher, and they're actually less. Again, we're not spending coronavirus relief funding this year, but our appropriations remaining are still better than 2021 at the same point. So that was a good thing to me. It's not just about revenue, it's about expenses, obviously. So our expenses also seem to be in a good spot as well.
Do you think that's a matter of, the department heads doing better holding down expenses, or, because everybody's facing inflation right now, but yet your, expenses are down a little bit?
I think there's a bunch of answers. I think the departments and other elected offices are doing a good job. I think it comes with 5 years of working with a pretty consistent board, whether it's Cliff or Maryland, and knowing that there are expectations when it comes to budget submissions. And I think people are truly budgeting and spending for what they need. So, there's a myriad of factors that go into that. I just think there's a good relationship with the commissioners and other offices in terms of budgeting, and we are truly operating a balanced budget at the moment and intend to moving forward.
Okay, along the financial lines, that's all questions I had. I did have one question for Daryl, going back to the Black Fork thing. What was the difference for you, Daryl, between the 450 and the 500,000?
Well, I just felt that we're going to have a lot of requests, and a lot of these municipalities that need help with water and sewer projects, hopefully stormwater, although we're sorting that out. And the different things that the money could be used for, I just felt that, we know what all those requests are going to be and how we're going to divide the money up. I was inclined to hang on to the 50,000 until we find out what the needs of other municipalities are. And that was their original request. And I felt that was a good place to stay. I think it's a great project, and it will be Mayor Shag and Joe Geis they'll get a good project done with the money they have. So
okay, well, that's why I asked the question, because I figured you supported that project quite well, and I was just wondering
yeah,
why you voted the way you did, and that was a good explanation.
No, the real answer is he doesn't like Maryland, so he wants to give Shelby the least amount of money as possible.
Maryland who?
Yeah, that's right. See, they're up to him and giving zero.
Yeah, and you're talking to Marilyn about Mark stuff now, and you're
Not me. Not me. Daryl is.
I am. Speaking of towers, the Lucas Tower is now 80 feet off the ground.
And Daryl's going to do the ribbon cutting from the top of the tower, by the way.
And there was a rumor I was going to swing upside down on it. That rumor is, you can put that to rest.
He's going to bungee off it.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
They haven't made a bungee cord for that yet.
We will recess until 10:30.
And that's today?
Okay. It is 10:30 in the morning. Your Richland County Commissioners are now back in session. We are joined by Mr. Seckel, Michelle Swank. Sir, would you please identify yourself from Adina? Mike Bear, welcome. We have a bid opening here for the addition to the nurses building at Dayspring. What's that?
It's just a station. It's
The
not a-
station, yeah. Well, they'll be building, extending it, so I guess it'll be in addition to the existing building. So we're here for the bid opening. We have two bids. We are gonna go on the record with a third that we are going to at least open, but not accept as a formal bid. So we'll do that at this time.
Why?
Again,
You want me to go over what I got, Dan? This just appears to be from Automatic Fire Protection Systems Incorporated in Fremont, Ohio. Is just a quote to install our water-based sprinkler protection system.
Repeat where they're looking for, Dan. Like they're struggling to, are you finding it or?
yeah, but I'm not sure. I see the guarantee and contract bond. Are we looking for, I see 2.02 lump sum.
Yes, it's 2.02 on sheet B.
2.02, okay.
I have a bid for Tussing Builders. You have the bond and their bid lump sum, all work, not including unit piece work or alternatives. It's $340,000.
I have a Dina Corporation with the same explanation, all work not including unit price work or alternates at $381,564.
So it's 381.
381, 564.
564?
564. 381, 564.
That it? Okay. Being nothing else, we will.
Wait a minute, I got a couple questions.
Oh, Al always screws it up.
Not always, sometimes Carl does it.
True.
That first company, what was the name of it?
Tussing, Tussing Builders out of Monroeville. Home of the Steeble brothers.
Okay, what was the estimate on this project?
Estimate was 315. That's what you, the low bid within 10%.
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
I'm saying if
the acceptance of bids is dependent on a 10% maximum overage. We would be within that parameter.
Okay. In other words, the apparent low is within the parameter.
That is correct.
Okay, and I didn't understand what they were talking about in terms of lump sum versus individual parts or whatever, however it was described. What
Would have to ask the county prosecutor because it's his verbiage.
Was there any alternatives?
No, there were no alternatives.
Any by the piecemeal or piecework?
So
It's the standard verbiage that the county uses on their bid.
okay, so if I just said lump sum bid.
Yeah.
Joe,
Okay.
you have anything else? Okay, we will recess 10:36.
Adjourned.
Adjourn.